Hey, what's up everyone? So today I'm going to try and implement a hovercraft. I'm going to work on trying to make it so that if I press a key, then I can toggle between the hovercraft and the player. And I'm going to do some basic controls for the hovercraft. So I've already got the hovercraft. Into the folders, so all I have to do is create an empty object, Hovercraft, and I'm going to parent this default pose to the hovercraft. And the camera, first of all I'm going to get an animator and a character controller. To the hovercraft. So first I need to go here, create avatar from this model, apply, and I need to go into all the animations and apply all the loop times. Okay, with that done, the animator, actually I need to set this to reset transforms. Reset. And reset. Okay. First, the animator. I'm not going to deal with the animator, but I'm just going to specify the avatar, which is what I just created. So it doesn't have an animator at this moment. For the controller height, I'll just make it 0, and then let's keep it as like a round ball for now. Leave it like this. I think I should apply root motion. And for the camera, I'm going to copy paste. So it's got all the same stuff inside. This one's going to be called, whoops. Camera hovercraft. I'm going to get rid of this script. I don't need any of this stuff. Maybe I'll keep the cam location for now. And I'll just move this down here so it's closer to the hovercraft. And I'll move the hovercraft and the camera to the side for now. So I need to create 2 scripts. statement. I'll create another one called camera Hovercraft. So I'm just going to dump these onto the respective objects. So the hovercraft movement goes onto the hovercraft, and the camera hovercraft goes onto camera hovercraft. Okay, I'll open both of these up. Okay, so first I want to copy paste the hovercraft is being treated as a character, so gotta reference the animator and the character controller. So let's do that ahead of time. So I'm going to use the update function, input get key down. I'll use the Z as the mount or dismount. And I want to do the exact same thing for the character. Stick it at the bottom of the update function. So I'm going to call this mount Hoverbike, and this one's going to be called Dismount Hoverbike, because this is the when she's sitting on the hoverbike, and this is when she's not sitting on the hoverbike. So when she's not sitting on the hoverbike, first of all I need, under this game object cam, actually under this do it under here. Actually, public game object camera public game object camera hovercraft game object hovercraft. Oh, and I'm going to go in here real quick. By default, both the hovercraft and the camera hovercraft are inactive, so I'm going to deactivate those. And then over here, public game object female warrior, public game object camera, let's do camera So when this button is pressed from here, from the female warrior, just say she's not mounted on the bike, but the player presses Z, then going to set, I think it's game object active false, camera dot set active false. So game object, I think it refers to the female warrior, which is the script, and then the camera Hovercraft is true. Hovercraft is true. So I'm going to compile that. Oops. I'm going to keep that lowercase. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing over here. So game object dot set active false. Actually, I do not need to set these false. Hovercraft is always there. It is the script that I need to disable. Public source script. this way anyways. Which is not exactly what I want, but for the time being, just leave it. Game object dot set active false. The female camera hovercraft dot set active false. Camera dot set active true. And female warrior dot set active true. Okay. So with both of these compile, just gotta wait for it. Okay, oops. So I've created these 3 fields. So first we're gonna put the camera in, the hovercraft camera, and the hovercraft. And I'm going to select the hovercraft. Oh, I have this all in the wrong. My bad. Erase all this. Compile. Compile. So now with the hovercraft selected, you can see the 3 fields. So female warrior, dump that in, dump the camera in, and the camera hovercraft. Okay, so if I hit play, if I press Z, and press Z again, why is it not working? Oh, this one has to be true. The hovercraft, if I press Z while the female warrior is being used, then hovercraft needs to be set true. If it's not only is the hovercraft turned off, but also the script that's attached to the hovercraft is inaccessible. That's why I can't go the other way and possess the female warrior again if the script is not functioning. So let's try this again. Z, okay. I press Z again, perfect. That's all I want for the time being. However, first thing I want to do is I want to control the hovercraft. So just like the player, I'm going to create a method called move. And in that move function, I'm only going to take, first I'm going to create a method, and within that method, I'm going to grab a vertical. So vertical, input get axis vertical, that's the, currently it's set to the WMS, W for forward and S for backwards, and that's stored as the vertical float that we're creating here. So we do the exact same thing over in the Hovercraft. And with that value, create a move vector. Except there's no horizontal, so I'm going to keep that. Oops. 0F. And then finally, you apply that value to the character controller. Right now I don't have a relative move vector. I'm using move vector, which is this here. Get current speed. I'm just going to use the same boolean for is running. So I'm just going to use two speeds, like one that's going regular speed, and when the right mouse button is pressed, then it goes faster. So is running is true if mouse 1 is pressed. If running is true, then so if is running is true, then we're using the run speed. If it's not, then it's a walk speed, because it's is running as a boolean, so it's either true or false. So I'm going to copy and paste those from here. Run speed. Okay. That whatever that speed is, it gets plugged into here. The vertical input. So the WS, whatever button is being pressed, times the current speed, which can be either running or walking, times time dot delta time. And one other thing that I'd like to include is the rotation. So I have a piece of code written down here where transform rotate first I should horizontal. And this one's not going to use the speed. Horizontal, which is this here, times time dot delta time. So I didn't create the turn speed yet. Turn speed, okay. I think this is going to work. I'm not too sure. Okay, so first I have to set these values, and I'm going to use. First, I want to see. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Walk speed and run speed are 2 and 5. This is a hovercraft, so it's going to go faster. So the walk speed for the hovercraft is going to be 5. And I'll make the run speed, try 15, something really high. The turn speed for the female warrior is 5. Let's keep it at 5 as well. So if I hit play, if I press Z, okay, it moves back and forth, but it's not rotating. Another thing that I need to add from the camera, the female warrior camera, so public game object Hovercraft. How come it's maybe I'll just do this first. Player. What am I doing different here? Public game object does not contain a definition for position. Oh. camera on the Hovercraft. Oh. So I'm just going to dump the Hovercraft into here. So now when I press play, if I press Z, the camera now moves the Hovercraft, but unfortunately the left and right is not working. So I've got to fix that. Transform, rotate vector. So done. Nope, that doesn't work either. Okay. I'm going to pause this for a second. Okay, one thing that I should take care of. I haven't figured out the rotation yet, but let's set back to 0 for a second. And start a new folder, animations Hoverbike. Quickly specify or click the loop time, apply. Loop time, apply. And loop time, apply. So if this is going to be selected, you go up here, make sure your animation is selected up here. Then check this loop time and then apply it. Okay, so I've got the dismount, Hoverbike idle, and the mount. So for now, I am going to add this to the Hovercraft. Once again, I'll move these over. And the Hovercraft doesn't have to be invisible, but the Female Warrior does. So I'm going to change this code so that when the Hovercraft is pressed, by default this script is unchecked. So whenever I press keys to move this female warrior around, I don't want this hovercraft to move around as well. Because it will move around as long as this is active, I believe. So, player movements, instead of setting this active, because it's already active, I need to make another game object. Called FW underscore Hovercraft, which is the female warrior. So the FW Hovercraft gets set to true, but another thing that I need to set to true is the Hovercraft dot component it's called Hovercraft movement dot enabled equals true. Here, female warrior game object. Oh, this is the wrong script. Female warrior hovercraft is set to false because she's when you press dismount, then she's not mounted anymore. And for hovercraft, I believe I can get rid of this hovercraft because it's just getting a component from itself. So hovercraft movement. I think this is going to work. Make sure everything's compiled. Gotta remember to dump the female warrior hovercraft into both sorry. So the hovercraft, I dump the female warrior hovercraft, and also the female warrior, same thing. Okay, dump into that field there. So if I hit play, everything's all good. Press Z. Okay, great. So I can move backwards and forwards. The other female warrior is not visible, but I can't turn. If I press Z again, the female warrior on the hoverbike is invisible, and this female warrior is visible. But I would like to work on the turn, so I'm just going to pause it and I'll be right back. Okay, so apparently this does work, this piece of code that I had here. The only problem was that the turn speed value was set to 5. I tried 0, but it turns, but it's super slow. So I want to try something even higher, like 500. So press Z, forward's fine, press turn. Yeah, it's a little way too slow. And it's going in the wrong direction, so I need to put new minus turn speed. So let me try 4 times faster. So right now it's 500. I'll try 2000. Press play. Press C. Okay, there's one problem, is the camera transform rotation equals transform dot hovercraft. So I had this camera, the hovercraft camera, it was following the position of the hovercraft, but it wasn't rotating with it. So as the hovercraft is rotating, I need the camera to rotate with it as well. So it's constantly right behind the hovercraft. Okay, so if I rotate, it's good. Except the forward and backward is only the world transform, unfortunately. Okay, so that's something else I gotta fix. I'm just copying and pasting this from the female warrior script. I guess I need to transform the camera rig. So this has to be camera rig. And that compiled. And I also have to change that name to relative move vector because I was using move vector. Maybe if I use relative move vector, it'll start moving. Not in accordance with the world transforms. So under camera rig, I have to make sure that I put in the hovercraft camera. If I press Z, Okay, so if I move forwards, backwards, if I turn, okay, that's fine for now. I need to, when she's going backwards, I need to invert the forward and backward. I mean, the right and left. Maybe if I can do if the vertical is greater or equal to 0, then do this. Else if the vertical is smaller than 0, which is it's going backwards instead, then it's this exact same thing, except I take away the negative sign on the turn speed. Let me try that. Press Z. I'm going forward and I hit right, great, but if I go backwards and hit right, then it should go that way. Perfect. Okay. One other thing that I want to do before I wrap this up is I want to deal with the camera movement. I want it to move in that pitch. Maybe if I just copy and paste, this is the camera from the female warrior. I'm going to copy and paste that into the Hovercraft camera. And I got all these missing, so camera sensitivity. So all this, I'm just going to dump in. Might as well just grab everything. Okay, so the only, because I want the pitch, but I don't want the yaw, so maybe if I, what if I put a 0 there? Oops. All of a sudden the camera is not moving with the Hoverbike. I am going to get rid of all this. Get rid of that. going to try using this thing that I did for the Hovercraft turn. The Hovercraft turn I'm using the A and D keys, but here I'm using the mouse. So, public, float, rotation, speed, and I'll keep it actually also get the camera sensitivity. Okay, so I've got the pitch and the camera sensitivity. Instead of using turn speed, I'm going to name it rotation speed. And instead of horizontal, I'm using pitch. Hopefully this works. So the camera, there's the camera sensitivity over here is 100. I'll use the same value for now. And I don't know what the rotation speed should be, so I'm just going to use 2000, like the the Hovercraft turn speed. Find mount. Okay, the rotation of that works well, but as soon as I move the mouse, it goes haywire. Oh, I know why. Vector 3 right. I'm not sure if that's going to work. Okay, it's rotating now, and I think the pitch, but it's going too fast. Maybe that value is way too high. If I do like 5, like something super low. That's a bit better. But for some reason it's like jittery. I'm not sure why, but it's working. You know what? I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah, it was the rotation speed at 2000. That was way too high. This is more than sufficient, but I don't know what's causing that jitteriness. I need to figure that out. So right now, this is the same as my Unreal version, where everything's controlled by the W, A, S, and D keys, except for the pitch camera rotation. And she's coming off the ground. I think that has to do with, I don't know. Anyways, those are minor things. I'm pretty happy with how far I got today. Okay, I'm going to cut it off here, and hopefully you guys, anyone that's watching, hopefully you enjoyed it, and hopefully I'll see you for more videos in the future. Okay, thanks.